Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 27B.
Be prepared for matches and results
of 123 Podcast. Episode 27A was Mike and I doing a live reaction to the final match, which ended up being matches for some stupid reason. Fastlane. So now we're here to talk about the whole pay-per-view and our thoughts and opinions on said pay-per-view. Brant's video will be right after ours. He'll explain in the video why we're doing it separate this time. But anyway, we had several matches. Let's not even go out of order. So I'm gonna move the camera a little bit here. And Mike, the first match was a kickoff match, and I want you to remember that this was a kickoff match for for future reasons. This was a kickoff match, and what was it?
This was a pre-show of Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio
for
the U.S. title,
and it was a 2 out of 3 falls. Whoever got the 2 out of 3 falls won. It was a very good match. Kalisto retained. But anyone could see it because it was a pre-show kickoff. So basically, whether you had the WWE Network or pay-per-view, you got to see the show before you actually had to pay for the pay-per-view. So this was the one match that everybody got to see.
Yep.
And it was very good and very predictable. I predicted Kalisto would win, so that's one for me. What did you think of the match?
Well, without seeing it, I did see the
highlights,
and I thought the first one was like saying Alberto, was in hot water, and he redeemed himself, and I knew that Kalisto was going to win at that last minute, because he is a great wrestler. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
He's Rey Mysterio Jr.
Exactly, and I thought that the match was pretty good for that one.
All right. So
you too now, huh?
Yeah, you made it catching. So now the pay-per-view is officially started. And what was the kickoff match?
First match for the Divas tag team match, which the match was Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Naomi and Tamina, or Team Bad, as their so-called team. And, well, I do have to say, though, that it was a pretty good match. I mean, Divas fighting and having the moves and stuff, but
it was a match that really, for me, you finish yours and then I'll.
Well, as a result of that match, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch won with the double submission that they did, and I thought that was actually pretty cool.
I thought the double submission was cool, but this wasn't exactly a match. I would have rather have seen Becky versus Charlotte versus Sasha than Becky and Sasha kind of going off on their own. At least for this time around, because we knew the results for a later match that involved Charlotte, but it was a decent match. I predicted the win on this one too. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a nice match. I will say that. It was nice.
All right, so we go to the second match for the Intercontinental Championship.
We didn't see this match coming for like the past month.
So the Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler.
I love how Brant thought Dolph Ziggler would win because and I said Dolph's been winning all along, and who won this match?
Apparently, still your Intercontinental Champion is Kevin Owens, and I thought the match was very awesome. Like, there were back and forths, and it was really a close one where I thought that actually Dolph Ziggler won. I mean, I did vote for Kevin Owens.
So did I, because it's predictable. He just got
the belt back from Dean Ambrose, and it was an awesome match and very close, but something that was the awesome event as of for the second match.
I thought it's my second favorite match of the night because they really went all out, Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens. There was one match that topped this match, but it was a nice match. I'm not going to take anything away from it, but again, very predictable because Kevin Owens just got the belt. You knew he was going to win because right along we had Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens, and we said that if this happened at the pay-per-view, we were going to be worn out of it already. And the truth was, my eyes wandered during that match to other things because I've seen Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens several times on Raw already. So
they exchanged those super kicks, though, and I liked how Dolph Ziggler was trying to do a Sweet Chin Music dedicated to our Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, but again, though, it didn't save the match.
It didn't save it. But
it was a good match, but it was a predictable match because you knew Kevin Owens was going to win.
Of course.
And that's sad, though, because you'd think that WWE would give Dolph Ziggler that push because he had the Intercontinental belt at least before. You should give it to him again. But they didn't. Kevin Owens retained.
Yep,
and who's next, we don't know, but I'm hoping it's AJ Styles, which we'll get into that match later on.
Well, that's that later match because we're going to now third match of the three Wyatts of Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman versus the Big Show, Ryback, and Kane in a six-man tag team match.
And might I add, this was the first match that I got wrong.
Well, actually, I was voting. Well, the winner of that match was the Big Show, Ryback, and Kane. And I knew that for some reason they were going to win because I kind of saw a pattern that
Brand said the Wyatts were kicking their asses for so long that they were destined to win. I literally picked the Wyatts. I literally picked the Wyatts because I thought they were going to pull a rabbit out of their hat and cheat or something.
Yeah, but it was like a pattern there. And, of course, Bray Wyatt was doing, his thing of staying outside the ring and all that. But I did see it mostly coming. I like now that Ryback's has a
sporting
new
the Goldberg gear.
Yeah, the wrestling attire. I mean, that was like really something different. But
he's Goldberg.
It's good to see Kane actually back with the mask and the Big Show.
Big Show was
the
good.
Big Show, yeah. And wasn't there a thing where after he did a missile thing, he collapsed?
Yeah, he did a spear outside of the ring again at Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
and he looked like he literally knocked out. I was like, Mike, did he knock himself out?
That's what I thought too, actually.
And he didn't. He didn't knock himself out.
Yeah.
It was all act, but it looked like he did.
Yeah, the match was an okay match in a good way.
It was okay.
Okay, we're going to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. So the fourth match is
I walked away from this one. I got up at least twice or three times with this one.
And this is for the Divas Championship belt where the Divas Champion, Charlotte, with her Big Daddy Ric Flair.
Versus
Brie Bella.
I was right.
Yes, wife of Daniel Bryan.
I was right.
And the winner of that was Charlotte.
Because Brie Bella's going to get a rematch at WrestleMania, and like her husband, she's going to win it.
Yeah. So, Daddy's little girl got the help again.
That was the worst match, the second worst match of the night. That was my second worst match of the night. It was boring.
I'm sorry.
No,
it was boring.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Brie Bella had that submission locked in. Like
yeah, they had to make up a way for Charlotte to win.
And of course, Ric Flair, he's always trying to interfere with something. And then Charlotte puts the figure eight because 4-8, yeah, haha. And she tapped out. And
it was a waste. This match was a waste. It was boring. They should have saved it for WrestleMania, like initially I'm sure planned. And we would have had a possible new women's champion. It would have been less predictable.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have to see development for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, and can I say
6 weeks.
And can I say this, every time Charlotte's in the match, it seems like I'm watching a rerun of the show I've seen over.
Yeah, she's like her father. She's just like Ric Flair. She's exactly like Ric Flair. It's the same moves, the same wrestling style, the same I get beaten up. She even bleeds like him now. Yes, Charlotte bled in this match.
A little bit from
the nose.
Here, yeah. But that was like, but I was wrong on that one. That was the one I was wrong on. All right, the fifth match. This one was the
best
awesome one and the best one. The phenomenal AJ Styles versus Y2J Chris Jericho. And let me tell you, I was voting for AJ Styles to win this one because between TNA and all the other wrestling things he decided, he was just there.
And I said AJ would win unless Chris Jericho turned full heel and cheated, which he didn't.
And he didn't. And the full result was that AJ Styles defeated Chris Jericho. But I'll tell you, though, this was the epic match of Fastlane that was not lame. This was the match.
It was very good. The the blows, the wrestling moves. This was a match I sat through from beginning to end. I didn't miss a single part of this match.
And also at the end, thinking that Chris Jericho was going to attack AJ Styles, actually extended his hand out for respect.
Actually, I have a counter for that. Scott Hall tweeted right after that moment and said at he said, why force the lame babyface handshake? It wasn't there. Hashtag WWE Fastlane. So even Scott Hall, and it's Scott Hall's Twitter, even Scott Hall was kind of a little bit offset with the it looked like a forced handshake because it looked like Jericho wanted to punch AJ Styles out, and then and he did that in the first match too. So it looked forced. It looked like it was a whole passing of the torch kind of deal. It wasn't as I didn't take that second handshake as warmly as the first.
Yeah, but that match was really the best one. And then to get away from the matches and the wrestling and stuff, we had a Edge and Christian segment of the
Cutting Edge Peep Show.
Yeah, the Cutting Edge Peep Show, where the New Day was going to make their appearance on their show as a guest of the tag team champions, as Edge and Christian was explaining about.
Now, let me explain in easy terms what this was all about. This was to promote the Edge and Christian show, which premiered tonight after Fastlane.
That totally reeks awesomeness.
And B, it's to promote the new feud between, here we go, New Day and, ready? Are you ready for what team? Not the Dudleys, not the Usos, not any other tag team in the WWE that you guys are familiar with going after New Day. No, it was the League of Nations. That's right. They started poking fun at the League of Nations, and guess what the League of Nations did? They came out and they ran their mouth because the New Day ran their mouth making fun of the League of Nations. So the League of Nations came out, threatened them. New Day walks out of the ring. League of Nations threatens Edge and Christian. They get out of the ring. So you don't know who the good or bad guys are. At first, it looked like the League of Nations was going to be the good guys, and they were going to keep New Day as the bad, the heels.
Yeah. And off their show, he called them saying that this is the house of dumbasses.
The League of Dumbasses.
Or the League of Dumbasses.
League of Dumbasses.
I thought it was the house of...
League.
Oh, League? Oh.
Oh, no, the International House of Dumbasses.
The International House. Okay, I forgot International.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, in the end, it looked like New Day was the face. Or it's just two heels going at each other. But it looks like League of Nations and New Day are going to be feuding. And it's going to lead into WrestleMania.
But now, wait, that's 3 and 4. So who's going to be the fourth partner of New Day? Maybe Mark Henry.
Maybe.
It could be.
Or Wade Barrett will sit out. Because remember, Wade Barrett is rumored to be...
or Kalisto.
Quitting in June.
Or Kalisto might join.
No,
but he has the belt. No. I don't know, but maybe something will happen towards.
Or it'll be just a regular 2-on-2. Xavier Woods will be out of the ring, and 2 of the League of Nations will be out of the ring.
But after we got the awesomeness out of the way, we're going to something.
Something that was not even on the card. People were tweeting about it, and websites were posting about it as it happened. And as it happened, as quick as it started, is as quick as it ended.
And it was awful.
And this was the stupidest match. This deserved to be the kickoff. We weren't even expecting it. What was the match?
A Social Outcast member of Curtis Axel versus R-Truth. What's up?
In a 3-minute match. Basically to stretch the time of Fastlane out.
And it was a 4-minute awful match where...
Social Outcast cheated to win.
Yeah, when Curtis Axel.
Well, Goldust tried to help. Yeah, Goldust tried to help R-Truth. He failed. This is all a Booker T. With R-Truth and Goldust, it's like Booker T and Goldust. And the Social Outcasts are so goddamn annoying.
I mean, first of all right, the Social Outcasts. You have Heath Ledger, who I wish would leave. I mean, permanently. You got Adam Rose, who used to...
Who cares?
What happened?
Who cares about him?
You got Bo Dallas. That Bo leaves. Everything is all pixie dust and magic fairies everywhere.
I believe he needs to retire.
And Curtis Axel's just...
annoying.
He was so... almost to be big and popular, and now he joins these people who are Can you explain to me why Social Outcast is existing in this?
I don't know.
Where and how?
This was a waste of 5 minutes just to
4
push...
minutes.
4 minutes, you're right. It was a waste of 4 minutes to basically stretch the Fastlane timeout so that we wouldn't have such a long gap at the end. The show ended pretty early. The show ended at about 10:45-ish. So
10:50?
about 10 minutes. Let's say 10:50.
All right, well, let's say that, yeah.
About 10:50 it ended. So it helped push the show an extra 4 minutes. And then let's not count the walking out of the main event because people walked out really slow for this main event.
So
now, this match, I have to say, though, this unannounced, impromptu, probably in the heat of the moment match was dumb.
That was the lamest of the night.
That was the lamest unknown match of the night. If we had to rate it on all the matches, that was the very worst match of the night. That match was just unneeded, unwanted, and should not. It wasn't on the card, and it shouldn't have been on the card. That was the worst match.
Yeah, because there was a 4-minute promo to the next match.
Right. Now, the women's title match
is second.
Is second if you count it, or first if you don't. It's second or third, depending on if you count the unannounced match.
Right.
Because the first worst match, my first place worst match, is
the main event of the triple threat match of Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose and versus Brock Lesnar, and the winner of that match will face Triple H at WrestleMania 32, which will be on April 3rd of this year of 2016. I should hope so. And as I predicted and knew who was going to win, the winner who will meet the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H, I forgot to mention, is Roman Reigns. Now, here's why I think it was going to go to Roman Reigns. There are 2 reasons.
Everybody knew. Everybody in the comments when we did the live show knew. They're like, we want Dean Ambrose, but we're going to get Roman Reigns.
Right, but that wasn't the reason why. What you said on the live show that I pointed out was that everyone voted for... 2 people voted for Brock Lesnar, and 1 person voted for Dean Ambrose, and nobody said Roman Reigns. And I noticed that before the pay-per-view, when they vote for someone who isn't mentioned, is the winner. And I knew...
And you were right. They didn't mention Roman Reigns, and he won.
And I knew it was going to be Roman Reigns because Triple H screwed Roman Reigns where it should have been Seth Rollins. And then Seth Rollins was supposed to be the person that was supposed to win that match, and it could have been a triple threat shield match that could have fused with Triple H, and that would have been the best WrestleMania main event. But we get Roman Reigns now.
They took away... Okay. My problem is they took away Dean Ambrose's Intercontinental Championship, even though we knew he wasn't going to win, which was dumb, because now Dean Ambrose has no championship, nothing whatsoever. They put Brock Lesnar in this match for what reason?
To get knocked in the tables twice? And
that was it.
Out of it?
And we all knew that Roman Reigns was going to win because Triple H stole the belt from who? Roman Reigns. What WWE should have done, and what I was hoping for, and everybody in the comments was hoping for, and what I was saying, maybe WWE would grow a brain and realize, in the normal circumstances, Roman Reigns would be the one we're rooting for, but they didn't realize they built they built up such an amazing storyline hopeful for Dean Ambrose that everybody changed their mind, and not changed their mind, but everybody was rooting for Dean Ambrose. WWE didn't take into account that people would root for Dean Ambrose when they threw Dean Ambrose in as that third that third possibility. Everybody thought, oh, well, they'll stick with Roman Reigns. They're going to want to see Roman Reigns versus Triple H. No! We all literally got behind Dean Ambrose because Dean Ambrose is just, he exploded into the main event world.
But there is a main reason why I think that they didn't want to have Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar win. For the reason for Dean Ambrose is because... Now, don't get me wrong, because I said on the live show, and you could say that, it's not true, but it was, that if Dean Ambrose won, I would have been happy too. I would have. But I knew for some reason it was going to be Roman Reigns. But the reason why I didn't want Dean Ambrose to probably win is because they feel Dean Ambrose, Triple H, they probably thought it might...
I would have loved to have seen that.
Probably might be but I would like to see him go up against AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Because that, I think, would be good.
I want to see AJ Styles go up against Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship belt.
Or The Undertaker.
Now that's it. It was a waste. Everybody in the comments, if you want to see the live show we did, finish.
And the reason why Brock Lesnar shouldn't have won either
is because he's not sticking around too long.
Yeah, it's because Triple H had a match with him at WrestleMania 3-ish years ago or so, and at SummerSlam, and it would just be like, okay, we're getting a repeat. So that's why I thought that's why they didn't win. Or they didn't want them to win, because Roman Reigns and screw up the Royal Rumble.
It was a waste. Everybody in the comments was upset. Everybody in the comments was upset. I asked everybody in the comments, did you like this last match? Because I said we were going to save our thoughts. And everybody in the comments, not one person was happy with the results of Roman Reigns winning. So, with that being said, they built Dean Ambrose up without even knowing it. And guess what? Now everybody's upset because they obviously picked the wrong person to put up against Roman Reigns, because everybody jumped ship from Roman Reigns, from the Reigns arm, the Roman Empire, to Dean Ambrose's, the Lunatic Fringe side. And now Dean Ambrose lost his Intercontinental belt, like I said. He doesn't have the main event at WrestleMania. So now what? Are you going to push Dean Ambrose all the way back down again? That would be the worst, dumbest, and not even dumbest, stupidest move WWE could ever do at this point.
This is probably going to break up Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose's brotherhoodship thing. I have a funny feeling.
I do not like that. Nobody liked it. And I went on Twitter later on. Everybody's using the hashtag Fastlane. Yeah, it's funny because on the live show, I called it Fastlane. And a few other people called it Fastlane. And I said, you know what? Go off and hashtag Fastlane on Twitter, because that's what this was. But a million people were doing it already anyway, because that's what this was. This was Fastlane. I said it when we were making our predictions. I felt it while I was watching the pay-per-view, when I was talking with Alan on Facebook before we did the live show. He's like, this pay-per-view is flying so fast.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not having fun. I got up for the women's tag. I mostly was gone for Charlotte's match. The Wyatt one, I sat through it while being on Instagram and a few other places, and Twitter. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho had me glued to my chair until the end. Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, I knew who was going to win that. The kickoff, I missed most of the match. I came in at the very end while we were setting up. What else? The main event was a letdown. I'm not angry at the main event. I'm disappointed. And the women's tag thing was okay. They should have been fighting Charlotte. Why are they doing a stupid Team Bad versus Team Charlotte? Charlotte and Becky even said... not Charlotte. Sasha and Becky even said... Sasha and Becky even said they're not going to be friends after this. So it's a one-and-done match. It's over. Now what? Now they're going to be feuding again, all of them, to get to the women's title match.
This builds a big concern about how WrestleMania is going to be.
Very. And another thing, now remember I told you to remember that the kickoff was the Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio, and we got that bullshit, and then later on, we got the R-Truth versus Social Outcast.
That should have been a match called the U.S. title.
That match, the Social Outcast versus R-Truth, that should have been the kickoff one.
Yeah.
That everybody could watch for free, and everybody would ignore. Because that's what the kickoffs usually are, you know?
Yeah, they're like...
Who care matches.
Matches, yeah.
And Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio, which I feel was more important, that should have... Okay. That should have been the main event. That should have been before the main event.
Yeah, but I don't know. But they're probably going to make WrestleMania... Now, remember now, we have a full month of March of no WWE pay-per-views. So in that span of time, hopefully we'll get greater match cards. And let's hope, if God willing, of all the WWE gods, will make this something for us to remember. Because WrestleMania is always something for us to remember.
We hope.
So let's hope for the better. Because this is going to take place in Dallas, Texas. Which is really awesome.
All I know is, when you're talking about WrestleMania, I didn't finish about Fastlane yet.
Oh, well, go ahead.
I think this pay-per-view gets a 1. Really? And that's being generous. Because of the awesome match that was AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, which we've gotten twice before that. And the awesome wrestling part of Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler. The ending or the winner was predictable for that match, but at least they put on a really good show. So for 2 good matches, I give it 1 star. For a predictable final match, predictable women's championship match, and a very bad decision to have a 4-minute match with the Social Outcast as part of the main pay-per-view, which if it was put on Hulu, Brant definitely would never have seen that match.
Never.
This was fast lame. It earned the title fast lame. This was a 1 star at best. As a matter of fact, Alan wrote me a little bit ago before we started recording, and he took a 2-hour. He realized he woke up and it was 2 hours later. He fell asleep right after the pay-per-view. He said literally, and I quote, I fell asleep. Where was it? It was right here. I took a nap and woke up. Looked at the time and it was 2 hours later. That was right after Fastlane. He literally, actually, right after Fastlane, and we went off live. We were talking, and he said, "I'm gonna go lay down for a couple of minutes." He slept for 2. He actually said the pay-per-view put him to sleep.
Yeah.
So he was out for 2 hours. I personally, after the pay-per-view, I needed a break before me and Jeremy did Anime Weekly because it was lame. It was a lame. This was a very lame pay-per-view. The pay-per-view before this was bad, but this was lame.
This was lame. Because for my rating, the only thing that I'm giving it, and don't kill me, I'm giving it 1.5, and I'll tell you why. The only reason why is because AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, that goes from 0.5 to 1, and the Kevin Owens versus, I can't even remember now. Dolph Ziggler was another great match, which goes a little bit up 1.5. It could have went down to 1 with that R-Truth thing, but I'm not going to be too, about it. I mean, maybe if I were to go between 1 to 1.5, maybe then, but this was, I don't even know if this is possibly going to be the worst pay-per-view of the year. I mean, I know we're in February, and it's not all the way until December until there, but if I had to choose one right now, it would have to be this pay-per-view right here.
I didn't like Fastlane. I thought it was a letdown, and now we have about 6 or 7 weeks of...
42 days.
42 days. Do the math.
41 days now.
Do the math.
Yeah.
We have several Raws before we get to WrestleMania. Yep. We don't watch SmackDown, and somebody in our comments actually said, I believe it was DN, he said, I'm done with WWE. I'll be watching pay-per-views, and I'll be watching NXT, that's it.
And that's what's going to happen, though. Because everything is being predictable. And the thing that
it's either predictable or bad.
No, and the thing that gets me really angry is on Raw, the night after the pay-per-view, they do the rematches. Why are you doing rematches?
We don't know
it's not necessary.
I understand, but we don't know if they're doing that yet.
They're going to do it. And you know who it's going to be? If it's not going to be Kalisto and Del Rio, but it's probably going to be Kevin Owens one. And it's probably going to be something with the Wyatts. Because, they always have to come out and talk and never know when to be quiet. And then blows out the lantern and everything. We're going to get the same thing. And the whole Roman Reigns and Triple H like saying, I'm going to beat you, WrestleMania, but I'm the boss. What's best for business? That's what we're going to be getting every week. Yeah. The same thing every week. And it's going to drive me nuts like it is now.
And then Dean Ambrose is going to get pissed off at Roman Reigns.
Oh,
they're gonna feud back and forth.
That's going to be something else. It's driving me crazy, even after watching this pay-per-view. And this is not like me.
I didn't like this pay-per-view. It was fast lame. And you could look at the end of the live show, like I said, and you could see Mike walked out. I was talking with everybody in the chat for a little bit, and nobody liked it. Everybody either thought it was predictable, bad, or just it was a very mismanaged pay-per-view. And that R-Truth match was stupid. Yeah. I'm sorry, I've seen stupidity before, but that was dumb. Social outcasts are annoying. I mean, now there are teams like I tell everybody, and you all know, you watch 1, 2, 3. You know I don't like New Day, but at least they're entertaining to watch.
They are.
There's nothing positive out of Social Outcast. Nothing. Zero. No fan likes Social Outcast. No WWE fan that I know of likes the Social Outcast. Maybe there's a majority. I'm not saying no one. I'm not the voice of everybody in the WWE universe. I'm sure there are people that like the Social Outcast, but a majority don't give two shits. And it wasn't on the card again. It literally was a 5-minute match just to push time. And again, the Social Outcasts win because they cheat.
They do. That's what they're good at.
And it pulled a little bit more of the Gold Dust R-Truth which used to be Goldust and Booker T. It's dumb. It was a waste of time.
I have a funny feeling that Raw, we're just going to see a little bit of the repeat, and Lord knows where Charlotte's going to go with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, because remember, they both won it.
It's going to be a fatal 4-way, I think, for the...
Four?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the
Sasha, Becky, Brie, and Charlotte. And Brie's going to win, because that's where her husband won his belt.
I want Becky Lynch to win. Or Sasha Banks, actually. If it was Sasha Banks and Charlotte, Sasha Banks would have knocked her teeth out. Like she did the last pay-per-view.
Sasha's going to have to wait.
She's boss.
She is the boss. We love Sasha Banks, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But this was a lame pay-per-view.
Just,
lowest of the year, and I doubt. I'm afraid to say I doubt it could get worse, but it can.
Oh, it can.
So I'm gonna and pretend like this was the worst pay-per-view thus far of 2016,
and that's exactly why.
I know it's only the second one, but man, oh man, I try to think of the positives, and the only positives I come up with was the performance of Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler, and the awesome match that was AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. That's it.
Yeah. And
so Fastlane was a failure of a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and just don't keep paper near you for this pay-per-view, because this will happen.
Very disappointing. We're gonna pass it to Brant now.
Yeah.
He's gonna take over with his side, what he thought of Fastlane, and he'll be closing out the show as well. We'll see you guys. If you guys have any comments, feel free to comment below from this part. If you want to agree or disagree to anything Mike or I say. If you want to stay tuned and watch Brant first, hopefully you guys will comment below. Let us know what you guys thought of Fastlane. And
remember, it's Fastlane.
Fastlane, that's right.
Remember.
And
Hashtag Fastlane.
Until episode 28, which will be of Raw with Brant and I back together again, we'll see you guys in the next video.
See you later.
Alright, thanks Chris and Michael for kind of manning the show in my absence. To explain it to you guys, the reason I wasn't able to make the actual full show is because I had two tight lettering deadlines, one for a client and one for a new book from Last Ember Press that we had to get to a printer that is going to be debuting next month with all hope and good luck and everything. So that's the reason, and I probably look really ragged, really tired, and that's the reason why as well, because I was up most of the night working. But I did finally get a chance to see WWE Fastlane, so I thought I would quickly give my thoughts on the pay-per-view, and I'll go each match, but first I'm going to give overall thoughts and I'll give a rating at the end. Overall thoughts for the pay-per-view, I felt it was a little bit above average, but it was very predictable. There were 8 matches, but there were 7 matches that we knew about beforehand that Chris and I did our predictions on. I got 4 out of the 7 correct, but 2 of the 3 that I got wrong, I was pretty sure I was wrong going in, and I kind of knew who was going to win, and I would have been right if I had just gone with the predictability, but I wanted to go out on a limb a little bit, and I'll explain those as we get to them. But yeah, just a little bit above average, just because 2 or 3 of the matches were really exciting for me. So I will talk about those and then give my rating at the end. So the kickoff show match, Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio, 2 out of 3 falls for the U.S. title. I feel like this match should have been on the pay-per-view, and when we get to the next to last match, I'll tell you why. I thought this was a really solid match. Yes, it's a match we've seen before a few times already, but it was a great match in the way that Del Rio kind of sacrificed a fall to get the next fall and hopefully get that final fall. Was pretty, pretty brilliant. I like the storytelling and all that. Of course, Kalisto won. I predicted that, so I got that one right. And he retains the U.S. title. So there you go. I enjoyed that match quite a bit, though. So, all right. So the first match of the actual pay-per-view was the women's tag match: Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks versus Naomi and Tamina. I know Chris and Michael have already told you guys all this. I predicted Team Bad would win. This is the one that I really thought Team Bad was going to win. I thought something was going to happen with Sasha and Becky, but instead Sasha and Becky proved just why they were called up to the main roster. They were fantastic throughout the match, and Sasha Banks she is the boss. I don't care what anybody says. She should be fighting for that Divas title at WrestleMania, in my personal opinion. I think she is amazing in the ring. I think her character, her persona, everything about her is amazing. So I'm kind of glad I was wrong with this. Sasha and Becky won. So I'm kind of happy about that. Next up is the Intercontinental title match, Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler. This one I predicted Ziggler because I wanted Ziggler to win, and I thought, okay, surely, Kevin Owens has been getting the best of him. Yeah, Ziggler beat him a couple times, but not straight out. I thought for sure this is Ziggler's chance. I should have went with my gut. It was, Kevin Owens won. It was a really good match, but again, it's a match we've seen over and over again. I'll give it points because it was a really good match, and there was a lot of false finishes, and it was a tit-for-tat super kick fest, and I kind of like that. So, but Kevin Owens won. What are you gonna do? All right, next match is I hate this match. The Titans, Ryback, Kane, and Big Show versus the Wyatts. Very predictable match. The Titans win. Nothing really to say there. It was kind of boring. I actually fast forwarded to part of this match, so I didn't even watch the whole match. It was kind of predictable what was going to happen at every step of the way, and it just was not a match I cared about at all. So there you go. Alright, next up was the Divas title. Charlotte versus Brie Bella. Sorry, I have an alarm going off. And this was predictable as well. There was no way Brie was going to win, especially when her career with WWE is pretty much done. She's leaving soon. She made a lot of missteps throughout the match. A lot of mistakes. She recovered nicely, and it was nice that she paid homage to Daniel Bryan and Nikki with some of her moves. But like I said, it was a predictable outcome. We knew who was going to win going in. There was no chance, and Charlotte retains. So, not the greatest match for me. One of my favorite matches of the night was the next match. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, the rubber match. And if Chris Jericho had won, I would have been ticked because that would have meant they were burying AJ. But AJ wins, so I'm very happy about that. But I'm happier the way the match went, even though the springboard reverse DDT was kind of messed up because Chris Jericho was in the wrong position. It was still a good move that we have not seen from AJ yet, or I haven't at least, in WWE. And I love the story between these two, and it was like an interview with AJ on the kickoff, and talking about how this really is the major leagues of wrestling, and I kind of like that they're starting to show more of his personality and everything. And he gets in there and he goes all out. He takes everything Jericho has. He takes the walls of Jericho and the more vicious version of it, the lion tamer outside the ring, and he still recovers, and he manages to get the style clash. I thought it was a fantastic match and a great end to that, 3-match feud there that they had going on. So now AJ can move on to other things. So I really like that match. One of the best of the night for me. Next up was a match that we were not supposed to get. Actually, first we had the Cutting Edge Peep Show. It was okay. It was fun until the League of Nations got involved, and it was like, what's the point of all this? And it was just to show that basically New Day is Christian and Edge for a new era. But we all knew that already. So I don't know. It was funny at parts, but I don't know. It was a time stretcher as well, which brings me to the next match, which was a match that was added, which was R-Truth versus Curtis Axel. And I feel like they just tossed this match in there to stretch time out. Maybe they other matches didn't go as long as they needed for that main event to have what it needs. So they just were like, okay, you guys go out there and you got such and such minutes so we can get to the main event. But it was all just for this R-Truth Goldust thing, which I've not been seeing because they've not put it on Hulu. So it was like, okay, and Goldust inadvertently costs R-Truth the match, and Curtis Axel wins. Probably the first match Curtis Axel has won in years. But anyway, so it was a throwaway match. There was no need for it whatsoever. So that brings us to the main event. Triple threat for the number one contendership: Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose. And Okay, this was the third match that I got incorrect, which I predicted Ambrose, and it was mainly because I hoped it would be Ambrose. Chris predicted Brock, and he got that wrong too. But I got it wrong as well, as you guys know. This was an interesting match. It went as expected to begin with. Brock Lesnar kind of dominated for a while for both guys, which, he's the beast incarnate. He's the big bad monster of the WWE. That's the way it should go. And then, predictably, they team up on Brock Lesnar, take him out of the equation. And then the real fight starts, which everybody knew that Brock Lesnar was just kind of a throwaway. He was just there to facilitate whoever was going to win and go to WrestleMania. And they tried to trick us by having all these Triple H Brock Lesnar confrontations, but we knew that was just a red herring. Or at least everybody but Chris apparently, because he thought Brock was going to win. But anyway, it was predictable, but it was cool seeing Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose go all out against each other again. These two really do, JBL said it, great friends, better enemies, and I think that's true. I think they bring out the best in each other, is what I'm saying. They are really good in the ring together. And I don't care who you like, who you're a fan of, you got to commend both of these guys for their talents. And it was a catch-as-catch-can, back and forth battle between them, and every time Brock would get back into it, they would take him out. And then, the way it ended, Dean Ambrose snaps, starts hitting everybody with chairs, and it cost him the match, unfortunately. But my boy, Roman Reigns, won. Got my Roman Reigns shirt on. I am a Roman Reigns fan. I think he's amazing, but even at this point, even I was hoping Dean Ambrose would win, because I want to see something different. I want to see unpredictable. I want to see change, and we're not going to get that by having Triple H versus Roman Reigns, which was the most predictable outcome for this whole thing. Triple H comes out, they do their typical stare down in front of the WrestleMania sign, and there you go. And that, even though I love that Roman Reigns is getting a push, and I love that he is in the main event, and he does deserve to be there. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you like him or not, or you think he's Cena version 2. I don't care what you think. I think he deserves to be there. His talent speaks for itself. So, whatever. But Dean Ambrose deserves it as well. And right now, Dean Ambrose has the fan support. Dean Ambrose not getting there is the equivalent of Daniel Bryan getting thrown out of the Royal Rumble last year, as early as he did. It's the same thing. People wanted Ambrose there, but you never know what's going to happen. It could end up Reigns wins and his first defense is against Ambrose. You just don't know. I think they believe in Ambrose, but right now Reigns is the guy, so that's fine with me. It's a predictable main event for WrestleMania, a predictable outcome for this match, and that's the only thing I don't like about it, is the predictability. I wanted something different, but we didn't get that. We got a paint-by-the-numbers show, which kind of brought my enjoyment down a little bit, but the AJ Styles match, this match was really good. The Ziggler-Owens match, even though we've seen it before, was good, and the women's tag match I thought was really good as well. So it's kind of a half and half pay-per-view for me, so I'm going to give it like a 3 1/4 for this pay-per-view, Fastlane. That's my thoughts on it. Thank you guys for bearing with me as I work through this. I know you guys have already listened to Michael and Chris talk about their thoughts on the show, and hope you guys enjoyed it. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments below about Fastlane and what your predictions are upcoming for WrestleMania and beyond, and if you're still on board, if you think they're going to still swerve us somehow, or if you think it's just going to be another predictable show. Anyway, so until next time, thank you guys for watching. That's going to wrap it up for 1, 2, 3. Bye guys.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production. Honk!